Rewilding is an ecological restoration strategy aimed at returning ecosystems to their natural self-sustaining states. It involves reintroducing native species, including plants and animals, to areas where they have been lost due to human activities like agriculture, urbanization, or hunting. The goal is to restore the natural processes that maintain biodiversity and ecosystem balance. Key aspects of rewilding: species reintroduction, bringing back species that play key roles in ecosystems, such as apex predators, leopards, wolves, or keystone species, bison, beavers, and more, that shape their habitats. Habitat restoration, restoring and protecting habitats like forests, wetlands, and grasslands to provide suitable conditions for native species. Minimal human intervention, allowing nature to take its course by reducing human management and letting ecosystems regulate themselves. Connectivity, creating corridors to link fragmented habitats, allowing wildlife to migrate and interact naturally. Benefits of rewilding: increased biodiversity, supports a variety of plant and animal species. Climate change, mitigation, restored ecosystems like forests and wetlands can sequester carbon. Water management, healthy ecosystems can regulate water flow, reducing flooding and improving water quality. Ecotourism, attracting visitors and creating economic opportunities in rural areas. Examples of rewilding projects: Yellowstone National Park, USA. The reintroduction of wolves has transformed the park's ecosystem, controlling overpopulated herbivores and promoting vegetation growth. The Napa State, UK. A large-scale rewilding project that has reintroduced free-roaming herbivores and transformed farmland into a haven for wildlife. European bison in Poland. Efforts to reintroduce bison to the Białowieża forest, one of Europe's last remaining primeval forests. Rewilding represents a shift toward working with nature rather than controlling it, focusing on long-term ecological resilience and sustainability. Rewilding can be categorized into several types based on the specific goals and approaches used. The main types of rewilding are trophic rewilding, focuses on reintroducing keystone species or apex predators that regulate the food chain and ecosystem dynamics. These species have a disproportionate effect on their environment and are critical for maintaining ecological balance. Example: reintroducing wolves to Yellowstone National Park to control elk populations, which allows vegetation to thrive and supports biodiversity. Pleistocene rewilding involves reintroducing species that existed during the Pleistocene epoch, Ice Age, but have since gone extinct. The goal is to restore ecosystems that evolved with these species, often by introducing similar or proxy species, modern relatives. Example: reintroducing animals like bison, horses, and mammoths, or similar species like elephants, to recreate ecosystems similar to those of the Ice Age. Passive rewilding involves letting nature take its course by reducing human intervention and allowing ecosystems to recover naturally. This approach typically focuses on restoring natural processes rather than active species reintroductions. Example: allowing abandoned farmland to revert to forest or wetland without actively managing or planting it. Active rewilding involves direct intervention to restore ecosystems. This could include planting native species, creating wildlife corridors, and reintroducing species to their former habitats. It is more hands-on than passive rewilding and often includes careful management. Example: planting native trees, reintroducing species like beavers, or creating corridors between fragmented habitats to allow wildlife to migrate. Ecological rewilding focuses on restoring ecological processes like water cycles, nutrient cycling, and habitat restoration. This type of rewilding may not always focus on specific species, but aims to restore the overall function and health of an ecosystem. Example: restoring wetlands to improve water filtration and flood regulation, or removing invasive species that disrupt natural processes. Social or cultural rewilding involves engaging human communities and creating awareness about the importance of rewilding, conservation, and sustainable practices. This approach aims to integrate local communities into rewilding projects and ensure that people benefit from and support the initiatives. Example: promoting sustainable farming practices or ecotourism that contributes to both community well-being and ecological restoration. A wild farm and rewilding are two concepts related to land management and conservation, but they have different focuses and goals. A wild farm is an approach to farming that blends traditional agricultural practices with natural wildlife-friendly methods. It aims to create an environment where nature and agriculture coexist, often prioritizing biodiversity, soil health and ecological balance over industrial farming practices. Key features of wild farming: diverse landscapes. Wild farms often feature a variety of habitats such as hedgerows, wetlands, forests and grasslands, in addition to crops or livestock. Low environmental impact. These farms reduce chemical inputs, pesticides, herbicides, synthetic fertilizers, and focus on organic or regenerative methods that work with the natural environment. Support for wildlife. Wild farms are designed to support biodiversity by providing food, shelter and breeding grounds for a variety of animals and plants. Agroforestry and polyculture. Wild farms often incorporate agroforestry, the integration of trees with crops, or polyculture, growing multiple types of crops together to mimic natural ecosystems. Sustainability. The focus is on long-term sustainability by promoting soil health, water conservation, and natural pest control. Examples of wild farming. Agroecology. A farming method that works with ecological principles to produce food in harmony with nature, enhancing both agricultural productivity and biodiversity. Rewilded farms. Some farms transition to a more natural state by reducing cultivation areas and introducing wildlife-friendly practices such as planting wildflowers, creating bird habitats, or letting some areas revert to wild habitats. In some cases, wild farming and rewilding can complement each other. A wild farm could incorporate aspects of rewilding by setting aside parts of the land for rewilding efforts, such as allowing natural vegetation to grow, introducing wildlife-friendly practices, and creating corridors for animal movement. This hybrid approach promotes both sustainable agriculture and the restoration of natural ecosystems.
Starting a rewilding project involves several key steps to ensure its success and sustainability. Here's a guide on how to begin. Assess the landscape and ecosystem. Evaluate the land. Understand the area you want to rewild. This includes studying the current state of the land, habitat type, species present, soil quality, water systems. Identify ecosystem gaps. Determine what is missing in the ecosystem, such as specific species, ecological processes, or habitat types. Check for legal and social considerations. Make sure the land you're working on is suitable for rewilding, no restrictions, rights to access, or environmental regulations. Set clear goals. Define objectives. Decide on the goals of your rewilding project. This could include increasing biodiversity, restoring natural habitats, or reintroducing specific species. Choose the right type of rewilding. Based on your goals, decide whether to focus on passive or active rewilding, trophic rewilding, apex predator reintroduction, or habitat restoration. Research and plan. Select species. Research native species that historically inhabited the area, as well as those that could play key roles in restoring ecological balance. Consider apex predators, herbivores, or keystone species. Consult experts. Collaborate with ecologists, wildlife experts, and conservation organizations to help design and manage the project effectively. Understand ecological relationships. Learn about how species interact within the ecosystem and the potential impact of species reintroductions, predator-prey relationships, plant-animal dynamics. Design the project habitat restoration. Plan any necessary habitat improvements. This could include planting native vegetation, restoring water features, like rivers or wetlands, or removing invasive species. Create corridors. Design wildlife corridors to connect fragmented habitats, allowing animals to migrate, find food, and reproduce. Set boundaries. Define the area for rewilding, ensuring it's large enough to support the species and ecological processes you plan to restore. Secure funding and partnerships. Seek funding. Rewilding projects often require significant financial investment. Look for funding through grants, NGOs, government programs, or crowdfunding. Build partnerships. Partner with conservation groups, local governments, landowners, and community stakeholders to gain support, resources, and shared knowledge. Implement active rewilding action species. Reintroduction. If you're reintroducing species, ensure that the environment is suitable and that any legal or ethical considerations are addressed. Start with species that are key to ecosystem functioning. Restore ecological functions. Implement practices that restore ecological processes, such as reintroducing natural fire regimes or allowing natural flooding cycles. Monitor and manage. Keep track of how the reintroduced species and restored habitats are performing. Monitor biodiversity, species health, and ecosystem dynamics. Engage local communities' community involvement. Engage local communities by explaining the benefits of rewilding, including potential job opportunities, ecotourism, or improved ecosystem services, water purification, flood prevention. Raise awareness. Educate the public about the importance of rewilding, sustainability, and biodiversity conservation through workshops, events, or media campaigns. Monitor, adapt, and scale up. Monitor progress. Continuously track the success of your rewilding efforts. Look at species survival rates, vegetation growth, water quality, and overall biodiversity. Adapt plans. Be prepared to adjust strategies based on results. Some species may struggle, or unexpected changes may occur in the ecosystem. Scale the project. Once initial successes are achieved, consider expanding the project to cover larger areas or add additional species. Measure success and share results. Track metrics. Use metrics such as biodiversity indices, species population trends, and ecosystem health to measure the success of your rewilding project. Share success stories, publish results, share progress on social media, or collaborate with research organizations to show the positive impact of rewilding, encouraging further action. Ecological balance. Ensure that the species and ecological processes you are restoring won't disrupt existing balanced relationships. Long-term commitment. Rewilding is a long-term commitment, often taking decades or even centuries to fully restore ecosystems. Patience. Nature requires time to recover. Results may take longer than expected, but persistence and careful management are crucial. By following these steps, you'll be able to establish a solid foundation for rewilding, whether you're working on a small-scale project or aiming for larger-scale restoration.
I think rewilding is incredibly important, not just for us, but for our planet. It's our job to protect this beautiful world and its incredible nature. Returning animals to the wild, to places where they've become extinct, is both our duty and our right. Nature has always been a big part of my life. I've loved it for as long as I can remember because it's pure, it's powerful, and it's essential for our survival. I'm personally planning to start a rewilding project in the future. I'm working on a well-organized plan, and I hope to begin this exciting journey soon. I want to thank you all for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. It really means the world to me. Together, we can create a brighter future, not only for ourselves, but for our children and generations to come. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.